tempered to resist. The master craftsman holds his work up to the light. He breathes upon the shield. The figures mist, then shine again. The bronze begins to sing. Nigel Spivey, Cambridge, England, 2004. Prelude. Orpheus in Love. Eurydice was a girl born to the company of dryads, the spirits of woodlands and fields. So there was nothing she liked better than to hitch up her skirts and run barefoot through open countryside. And Orpheus, who loved her, was inclined to let her go. He was a poet, therefore it delighted him to see her move so free and fast. He doubted he could ever match her easy, flashing strides. Just once he tried, kicked off his sandals and followed in her trail. Within moments he was howling in agony, hopping and clutching his heel. Eurydice dashed back to where he lay collapsed on the ground. She saw straight away it was not the end of the world. Bending over, she seemed to plant a lingering kiss on the sole of her beloved's foot. With the tip of her tongue, she located a thorn. Gently, she extracted it, teasing it out with her teeth. Orpheus swooned with relief. Eurydice held up the source of his pain, a tiny needle from the wild. Orpheus gasped in disbelief. "Was that what brought me down?" She nodded. He sighed. A lesson to us all. "How so?" she wondered. "How Eros does his work," Orpheus went on. "We hardly see him, this little lord of love, yet sure enough, we feel his darts. Each one a spear thrust through the ribs." He lay back in the grass and closed his eyes. She knelt beside him, stroking his brow. "Was that how it was with me?" she asked. "With you? Oh, yes. With you, young Eros stabbed me very hard, a mortal wound, no less." Her fingers trembled in his hair. The man was a wondrous weaver of words, a ceaseless stitcher of songs, yet every utterance of his was like the stuff of truth. She deeply trusted him. He sensed the hurt he had caused and reached out for her hand. "I only meant," he said, that you complete my life." Orpheus had a certain far-off sense that one day he would die for the love of his Eurydice, but he did not put it like that. Now she lay down with him, making what they craved, a meadowy hide, a refuge within sweet grass stalks where they were joined and enclosed. For a while they were silent, their heartbeats coming to merge. Eventually she spoke. "What makes me weep with wonder is how I've always known you, even when our lives were utterly apart, knowing you were there somewhere, loving you before I ever saw you." "When I first set eyes on you," said Orpheus, "it wasn't love." Eurydice started. He touched her soothingly. "So much as recognition." She smiled and settled her head on him. "So," she said, "tell me why." Orpheus did as he was told. It was, after all, his vocation to tell things how and why. "Well," he began, "hardly anyone knows this tale, but never mind. They say that in the beginning, when the powers above chose to let us appear as playthings in their world, we mortals looked quite different from our present shape." Eurydice snugged deeper into his shoulder to breathe him in the more. "We were duplicate, or at least doubled in most respects. 2 heads, 4 arms, 4 legs, a single torso, I think, but with 2 sets of genitals attached. Mostly these double humanoids had both male and female parts, but not all of them were like that. Some were double men, some double women. Those who wanted to reproduce did it automatically." He paused. Her head moved with his chest. Her eyes were closed, but she was quite awake. "Like the crickets do," she said. "Not much fun." "Oh, but we were very happy that way. We went cartwheeling around, terribly pleased with ourselves. Too pleased for our own good. We thought there was nothing that we couldn't do. We thought we were simply divine. We planned to take heaven by storm." "Oh, did we?" cooed Eurydice. "Yes. That was when the deities on Mount Olympus grew alarmed. They held a council to discuss our turbulent behavior. Almighty Zeus gave the order to have us sliced in half, cut us down to size. For a while he was tempted to get rid of us altogether, but then who would be left to worship him and the other gods? So it was that each of us was weakened by a drastic split. We were stitched up and rearranged, of course. Apollo did the surgery, and he did it as neatly as he could. But forever after we have suffered from the wound, left like tallies of our former selves. So it's deep in our nature now to roam in search of the missing part, our other half, to be fused as once we were." Orpheus clasped Eurydice as tightly as he could. Somewhat he hummed, like this. "It's nice," said Eurydice, "but I don't believe a word. Now tell us how it really was." "From the beginning," said Orpheus. "Anywhere," murmured Eurydice, "so long as it ends with us." "Very well." Orpheus gathered his breath. "Once upon a time." 1. An early childhood of the world. Out of chaos. Once upon a time, there was no time. It was a void without days, hours, or anything ticking by. No light shone, no dark fell, nothing moved, because there was nothing to move, nowhere to go. It was the empty, ageless state of chaos. No one can tell when chaos began to grow into form, but no one can doubt what came with the growth. It was Eros, Zero's opposite, the same force that rocks us at the knees. Eros, the divine ignition of the world. A shape appeared in chaos, smooth, solid, hugely calm. This was Gaia, Mother Earth. Above Gaia there stretched a broad, wide-shouldered form. It was Uranos, the sky. As such, they might have stayed there, Gaia and Uranos, apart for all time, if Eros had not stirred and loosed his darts. Uranos gazed on Gaia and marveled at her loveliness. His heart drummed hard with desire. Uranos lowered himself down on top of Gaia and caressed her flesh. He made a gully where he could insert himself into Gaia's pliant clay. Once he thrust himself inside, she was never so smooth again. Uranos heaved and sweated there. He cast his seed and rolled away for slumber, while Gaia stayed awake. She yearned for her lover. He came to her again and again, swooping as Eros ruled. Meanwhile, Gaia swelled with the seed Uranos left. Her belly grew and grew until, with a heaven-searching howl, Gaia pushed out what was inside her. It came out as a surge, rushing into eddies and waves. It was a burly, eager thing. It was the ocean, and it showed its strength with a roar. Uranus looked down upon Gaia, nursing the noisy child. In the tides and toes of young ocean, Uranos glimpsed sinews of himself, which pleased him. But Uranos was jealous, too. He had folded Gaia in his arms. He had caused her to gasp and smile. Now she crooned over this ocean playing in her lap. What was this splashy toy to her? He puffed himself up. He descended again. "Love me," he boomed, gripping Gaia hard. Once more Gaia was swollen with the seed. Once more she broke open, issuing forth a shiny, round-faced thing whose name would be Helios. Gaia fondled the golden creature, and again Uranos was petulant. "Give that thing to me," he demanded. "I made it. I want it." Uranos gathered Helios up into his high place in the sky and kept him there.